living in Taiwan, what language do you use the most? Like, do you speak more Mandarin? Do you speak more English? You speak Russian with your family, I would imagine. How does that all look?
Okay. So it was a little bit different uh, for like different periods of the life at the time. So like for at the beginning, for like when I was in school, like in the university, like it was like mostly English, and it was getting more and more Chinese. So I would say like maybe like first like 2 years it was like I would say like 100% English. Then okay, maybe like let's say like it was like 80% English and 20% Russian because my dad was here. Then like my dad left Taiwan. So like then I didn't speak Russian for like I think like 3 4 years until my sister came here. So like it was like English, and I was actually getting Chinese. I was starting to date more and more with like local like with like so like I would get like Taiwanese girlfriend, like we speak Chinese, so it was getting more like to like I don't know like maybe 70% English and 30% Chinese. Then I finished the school. After I finished the school, like I got my first job, and there like I was the only one foreigner, and there like I had to speak Chinese all the time. So like at the time it was like maybe like 90% was Chinese and 10% English, and I actually was like at the time like I would start to forget some of my English, and uh, and then like I switched to another job. Also like my sister came, and after also so like I would once I switched to another job, then like that company like there's many foreigners. Also like we do business for like I would say like American market the most, and I had to speak English more. So at that time like it switched back to like maybe like 60%, or maybe like 50% English, 30% Chinese, and 20% Russian. And actually, it's like at the time, like when I didn't speak any Russian for like a few years, I actually started to forget many words. And even now, like because I left Russia when I was 17. So, for example, for the school, like how do you say like those things in like for example credit semester, like a lot of different nuances or those things you don't know how to say that. Like I don't know how to say them in Russian. Also, like for the business, like when I need to explain like my parents, like what do I do like in Russian, like I don't know, like I never learned those words in Russian. So like sometimes I feel like kind of like as a child for my level of Russian. So it's actually another thing for me because, as you mentioned, I I have been living like out of country, so like I have different cultures in me. But there's actually one thing that like for so I can speak like Russian, English, and Chinese. But like I cannot speak none of those languages perfectly. So like like because like for Russian like it started like when I was 17. For English like I would say like I know the most like words in English, but still like I'm not native in English. In Chinese the same. Like I know a lot, but I'm not native. So like it is kind of a weird thing for me because like none of the languages I can speak perfectly. So yeah, it's something interesting, I would say.
Between English and Mandarin, which one do you speak the best, you think?
In English, yeah.
English.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But nowadays, like in current times, what do you speak more of on a day-to-day basis? Is it now more Chinese?
I would say because at work I speak English and Chinese, depends which coworker I'm speaking with. Like with my family, I speak Russian. When I go out, to the like restaurants and other things, like I speak Chinese. But with some other friends, I speak English. With some other friends, I speak Chinese. So I would say like it's kind of like maybe like more or less equal mix of different languages.
That's really cool, though. I mean, like you can speak the languages of like the three biggest countries in the world, right?
Oh,
Russia, China, and I'm going to say Canada
mm,
because I'm Canadian and we speak
uh,
English. I mean, those are the three biggest countries in the world, and you can speak all three of those languages. I mean, like in terms of practicality, in terms of usefulness, I mean, you almost couldn't do any better. Like that's perfect.
mm,
Because I've
yeah,
heard
just need
people say
Spanish.
that, like, yeah, Spanish or maybe like Hindi or something from India would be really useful. But I've heard people say like, oh, I would love to learn Chinese, or I would love to learn Russian, just because there are so many people that speak those languages. And it's like, I mean, yeah, but like that's a dumb reason to learn a language. Well, like you need to have a use for it, right? You can't just be like, oh, I just want to learn this because so many people speak it. If you don't have an actual use in front of you, you'll never become fluent. But for you, you have like such practical reasons, you know, for all three of those languages that like, and every day you're using pretty much all three of them. Like that's so useful. Like you can communicate with so much of the world in their first language.
It is a convenient thing. And yeah, like I would say like if you learn the language, but you never use it, like you're gonna forget it like very quickly. So like you need to have kind of like the reason like why you need this language, and you need to always apply it, like watch the movies in this language or like try to speak this language. I think like now it's actually pretty cool because they have like those AI apps where you can actually speak with AI in the different languages.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually something very cool to learn the language. I didn't try it, but like I saw some ads and I was like, oh wait, if it actually works, I think it's actually very good thing, like because sometimes like you need to like practice a language, but like you cannot find like a friend where like with whom you can practice. So like when you need to practice with them, like there's always kind of like they want something back, right? Like if it's a girl, maybe because she wants to date you. If it's a friend, maybe they also, or maybe like they also want to learn your local language. Then so it's kind of like there's always some sort of like there should be also a reason for them, like why they need to, like why they want to do it. So yeah, I would say like those apps, like in theory, they could solve it, but yeah, like I haven't tried it.
Yeah, true. I mean, they could be like a resource to help you learn a language. But I do think that when we talk about like, you know how learning a language is like a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? Like it takes years and years. And if you have a reason to use a language that is outside of your control, like your job or your partner or your friend group or your family, then you'll just always use that language no matter what. And it's almost like the learning happens like I'm not sure you could learn a language that way, but in terms of maintaining like your level so you don't forget as much, it almost happens on its own. Like I really like languages as well, but I realize more and more that learning a language is one thing, maintaining it is something completely different. And so I, like for my main channel, I do a lot of videos in Filipino, right? In Tagalog. And so it's like, you know, it's part of my job. And, you know, up until very recently, I also edited all of my own videos. So I wrote subtitles, like hours and hours and hours of subtitles, like putting them from Tagalog into English or whatever. And so I just use the language for that. And then I'm an English native speaker, you know, so I speak English with my family, of course, and a lot of our friends. And then, like I said, my fiance is from Colombia and we speak Spanish with each other at home. So I speak Spanish every single day with her. And so it's like, because those languages are all a part of my life, just like yours are, I know that I won't forget them. But then I've also learned German. I got no use for German. I don't really have any German friends. My family doesn't speak German. And so like, I just forget that language. And now it's a chore. If I want to practice German, I have to kind of, okay, I'm going to listen to this podcast in German, or I'm going to practice some vocabulary, or I'm going to go on Discord and talk with someone, but it's a choice. I have to do it. The other languages just happen because of my lifestyle, right?
And it is much easier like when it happens because of your lifestyle, because you're not like forcing yourself. It's like when you, for example, speak Spanish with fiance and like you want to learn it, like you're actually going to be like way more motivated than like if you just want to learn Spanish by itself, right? Like if you have like a good motivation and something that you're doing that like you're happy, because for example for you, like of course you're going to be very happy if you can speak better Spanish with your fiance, right? So I think like those kind of like little motivations like will make the whole process much easier. Like so like I think like but the language, I think it is a cool thing, and once you can speak at least more than one language, it's gonna get easier and easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of like prove to yourself that you can do it as well. You're like, oh, I'm capable of doing this, right? Because you didn't grow up with more than one language, right? You just grew up with Russian, is that right?
Right,
Yeah.
Yes.
So like when you were 17, you kind of had to prove to yourself that you were capable of learning to speak another language. And that's a big hurdle, And I feel bad that a lot of people, I mean, a lot of English speakers, particularly, never get to prove to themselves that they can learn another language. Like I'm basically the only one in my family that can speak another language. My sister speaks some French, but mostly my family just speaks English. And that's good because, English is a very useful language, but sometimes I feel bad that they don't have the opportunity to see what it's like to speak another language, because it changes the way you see the world. Like, it really opens your mind to like new ways of expression, and it's crazy. Like, yeah.
And just like all of your experience going to be completely different, because for example, let's say like if you're in Philippines and you speak English, you're going to have like one type of experiences. But like if you speak local language, the way that people treat you, the way like things gonna work, I think is going to be completely different. So I feel like
Absolutely.
if you can speak the local language, just like the way people interact with you is going to be, yeah, like much closer, much more like it's going to be to the locals. So I would say, yeah, if you can speak local language, your experience is also going to be more like a local experience. But if you only can speak like English, your experience is going to be more like as a tourist.